Welcome back to Altered Stangs. So today we got a little driveway project going on. A while ago I took this car down to the Florida Keys with Jackie and we had some issues along the way. One of them was we broke the passenger side door handle. What got me a little worried was we were locking the car. I was worried that we might break the driver's side door handle and then not have a way into the car. So this is something I got to get fixed. So you guys may have this issue on your car. Follow along with me and we'll get this thing swapped out. Alright guys, so the old silver bullet here, you can see the door handle is not operational. Another reason that's going to be nice to change it is somebody must have changed it in the past, and I don't know if you can see that. It's been on an angle for a while. I actually rubbed the paint right there a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see it. So that may be an issue you guys have. Maybe you've got a broken door handle. Maybe somebody installed them incorrectly. So anyway, we're getting ready to head down to Motor City Fox Fest. You know, of course, we're gonna lock the car up at night and don't want to worry about trying to get back into it in the morning. So the only bummer about this is, unfortunately, I'm gonna lose the nice paint match finish, which I do like, but nothing I can do about that now. All right, so I've got a right-hand door handle assembly here. So it came with the handle and the rivets to install it. All right, guys, so this is just one of a few things I got to fix from our trip down to Key West. So we got to keep up with the repairs on this car, or else this car will turn into this car. And we sure as heck don't want that. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this door panel off. So the first thing I would normally do when pulling this door panel is to take this cap off that goes here. Usually a Phillips head screw holding it on. Unfortunately for me, in the car's previous life, this hole has been enlarged and it's stripped out and it won't hold the regular size screw. So I either have to put a bigger screw in it or repair this hole. So that's something I haven't got back to, so it's missing. So there's a Phillips screw right in here that we need to take out. There's one in the door handle trim. Now, many of these cars have been through a lot before we may have owned them, so your hardware may differ a little bit from this one, or maybe mine differs a little bit from yours. So to get this trim off, I pull the door handle back a bit, kind of lift out on it like this, slide it forward. And there's a gasket right here that just slides off. We'll keep that all together with the screw. Okay, there's usually a Phillips screw in there, which is already missing. And there's usually one in there which is missing as well. So on your car at home, you'll probably have to remove those. So we've got these little trim caps here. Find a little pick is usually the nicest way to remove those. So once you've moved the trim plug from the armrest, there's a 10mm bolt back here and one back here. All right, so our armrest is loose and it's tilting forward, as you can see. So you just gotta lift up, tilt it forward. As you can see, you're just trying to get it out of these two areas right here. So we've got our power window wiring on this car. So we will have to undo it here. So I'm going to undo this screw. Push that forward, pull it up. That will allow me to bring it forward, and then I can undo the screws back here. That allows the cover to come off, and then your wiring go right back through. And now we can remove the armrest. So now that we have the armrest out of the way, all of our hardware removed, there are a bunch of push-through pins that go on the back side of the door panel that hold it to the door. They're on the outer edge all the way around the door panel except for the top. So we've got a trim removal tool. We're going to get behind here. Just start pushing nice and easy. See if I can show you guys this. You want to try and find where the pin is, where it's snug, and then you can get in there and give it a push. So you just check for anywhere that's tight. Once you think you've got it released, you can just go like this, and you can see that that door panel is loose now. So to get it off the door, we have to watch this area here, but we have to lift up. So the reason we have to lift up is the felt for the window kind of wraps around the inside of the window channel here. It's going to tilt up. Watching this, I'm going to push up at the back, get it up above the door lock. Now we just have to get our wiring through here. That's it. Your door panel is removed. So as I was saying before, these cars have lived a long life, maybe before we've gotten them. As you can see in the case of this car, it's missing the seal that goes around here to keep moisture out. So now I'm going to put the window up, get it out of our way. Okay, you can see our rivets back here. Here's the rod. Here's the rod for the door handle, and as you can see, it's no longer attached. So the piece is actually broke off. It must be down in the door. I'm going to fish around here and see if I can find it. That's not it. Well, it's still on the rod. Just further down. So we gotta fish it kind of around that. All right, there's our issue right there. All right, so with the door panel removed, now's a good time to see if any clips stuck in the door and didn't come off with the door panel. That's the case with mine, actually. I've got one right there I got to get out. And another right there. So you want to get these clips so we can put them back into the door panel when we go to reinstall it. Unless you have some new hardware, we still got to get them out of the way anyway. All right, so we're moving on to the outside. And in my case, I'm really great with engines, transmissions, rear ends, modifying stuff, cutting, grinding, welding, stuff like that. What I'm absolutely lousy with is paint and bodywork. So when I actually have a car that has good paint, I got to take really care not to damage it. That's what we're going to do right now. We're going to put some tape all around this area and try and protect it as best we can. Now some of you might say, that's a lot of tape. I even layered it in spots. But hey, I'd rather buy a new roll of tape than have to repaint this door. I'm not even sure I could get this paint to match. All right, so there's two rivets under here. As you can see, there's a center piece that's in the holes, which is used to expand the rivet when it's installed. We have to possibly get those out of there. So I've heard over the years people have used a punch to knock those out. I'm gonna give it a try. I'm not that optimistic on this. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to hit it harder than I want to hit that door. I don't want to cause dents or paint cracking, right? So let's try. That actually works surprisingly well. So I'm just going to see if I can't get a hold of it with my vice grips. Give them a pull. Look at that. That worked excellent. There we go. So now that the center's out of our rivet, I'm just going to take a drill bit and I'm just going to drill it enough until the head of this rivet falls off. You don't want to go right through that door and enlarge the hole or anything like that. Okay, so just got our drill, standard drill bit. See, it just popped off just like that. I'm going to show you here. So as you can see, I didn't drill right through. That's the rest of the rivet right there. Just drilled it till the head popped off. So I just got to finish up this other side. Somebody's made a mess of my holes already, unfortunately. It's going to work, it'll be fine, but ideally that's not what you want to see. Alright, so I got the door open so I can get access to the back. Got our new door handle. Gonna pop that square tab through the big hole. And I'm gonna put it right on the rod that actuates the door linkage. If I don't do this now, I'll have to pop that rod off at the bottom and fish it through and then put it back on, which isn't a big deal, but I just want to do it this way to save some time. Wish I'd had somebody else to hold the camera here while I worked on it, but you've got to push down on that rod and tilt that part of the door handle up, get it over the rod and push down. And now we're hooked up. Alright, so now that the door handle's on, there's one other thing you need for your install. That's a big rivet gun. So I got this one off Amazon. It was made in Lachine. It's made out of Chinesium. I've used it before. I used it on the T-top install on Jackie's coupe, so it should work just fine on this. Okay, so having two people would probably be the best scenario. Somebody to hold this door handle in towards the door, maybe even hold that open. But I'm here by myself, so excellent. So as I do this, I'm just trying to make sure the door handle's down a bit so that when the rivets bite, it's not up, so when you open the door handle doesn't rub the paint. And you don't want it crooked like my other one was. All right, let's have a look. So you guys can see it's nice and straight. Let's see how it works. Oh wow. Wow. So that's a world of difference over the old plastic one. Every time I would open it with the old plastic door handle, it would feel like it's buckling in the center. Felt like it was going to break. This feels super strong and secure, and there's no worries about opening that door now. Let's have a look at it without the tape. Who put all this tape on here? Did they use enough? That's a definite improvement for this car. Like, you guys probably couldn't see it in the past, but that door handle was sitting up in the back and it was rubbing the paint off right there. Opening the door was a challenge. I can't get over that now. That's awesome. So there's the new rivets all in place. Now we just got to reinstall this door panel, which is super easy. It's cake, right? Okay, so we want to set our door panel on something clean and soft. Don't want to damage it. So the reason for this is we want to put these pins back in that came out when we took the door panel off. So you just push them in the big hole, slide them over to the smaller side. Alright, so the door panel, first thing we're going to do is put the wiring back through the hole. I'm going to bring it up here, and this might actually be easier with the window rolled down. Okay. So we have to be mindful of this. We don't want to tear anything. So we're trying to push the top in to get it into this tract. We have to get it over the lock rod and around that, and you've got to be careful. You don't want to tear your vinyl door panel. So now it's back in position, so we're going to give it a push in all the spots where these clips are, and you're going to feel them go in. And so if you've got your door panel in the right spot, it is going to push on just that easy. So our armrest, we're going to push the wiring through, just like that. And then we're going to put those clips right on the door panel, and you can basically rest it there like that. Now you can put your switch back together. Mine is a touch more difficult because there's a little piece broke off on the end of my switch, so there's a washer actually holding this down, which works just fine. Never had an issue with it coming loose. So you don't have to crank those right up. You don't want to break any plastic like mine. So bring you guys over here. So this metal tab, when you're installing it, you don't want to scrape it off your armrest or you'll put a mark in it. So the easiest way is you want to take this, tuck it up in here like this so it's extending over the armrest. That will allow you to get this metal clip past everything without scratching anything. And just push down like so. Okay, so as you've seen, it's resting on our clips. We're just going to tilt it up. We're going to tuck that wiring right here into this hollow. And then we're going to gently push it down onto the marks in the door panel. You got to watch not to bunch up the vinyl and tear it or snag it. It's just that easy. So back to our 10mm long bolts, which are going to go in the holes here underneath our trim covers. I'm going to pop the screw back in our switch assembly. So the reason I left these two loose is sometimes it's a lot easier to get this screw in and this screw in while you still have some wiggle room. You never want to over tighten anything. These cars are made of plastic, vinyl, cardboard. You don't want to push through that stuff and bust it. You don't want to mess up the clip on the back or the hole in the door. Just snug enough is all you need it. So So that screws in. There should be one here. I'm gonna have to find one to put in there. Mine's missing. So you have to do this one, this one. Now we're gonna snug up these 10 mil bolts. Okay, all right, so we've got our door handle trim here. We're just going to pull back on the door handle release lever, get it to go through here. You will feel it kind of slip into where it needs to be. Now we can put our screw back in. Then you can put your cover back on where the mirror goes. I've got to do something here, put one on. Put the screw back into this part of the door panel, which I've got to go find one. Mine is missing. And our trim for our armrest just slides back into position. There's a guide here at the top, which slides into a slot at the top. I just push it back in like that. Voila. All right, so there you have it. Another driveway project. This one's relatively easy to do. I mean, all projects, if you don't have a lot of experience, can be intimidating. But keep in mind, we all had to start somewhere. I didn't just learn any of this stuff overnight. I learned from working on it. When I was younger, I'd get intimidated by certain projects. I'd take the car to a shop. I would pay to have some work done. And I'll tell you, nobody cares about your car as much as you do, and not all shops do great work. So if you think the job is something you can do, probably nobody's going to do it better than you. As I say, I paid a lot of money in the past and got some pretty subpar results, which probably pushed me to do the things that I do today. So this was done by somebody else, and just look at it. This thing is crooked, as you can see. The paint is getting rubbed off right here, which means it's going to be rubbing the paint on our door. And that looks just horrible. So if you go back to what we did today, that is not crooked. That is not going to rub our paint in any way. So that being said, there you have it. And we're all back together, just like it never happened. I'm very happy with that. So this isn't a bad project. I believe you can do it too. Thanks for hanging around with me today, guys. I appreciate it. See you soon.